Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hour 2. We're here for you. That's what we do. Maybe I should stop. That's really bad. It's really.
Your rhymes
You guys are literally going to let me keep going.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah.
Your rhymes are poo.
Yeah, your rhymes are poo.
Okay. So. Well, I just realized what you said. Wow. Okay. So here we go. You finally rejoined to the party. Them probably looking a bit downtrodden. Up to you guys. Erin, you probably looking happy, like you've just done nothing but great things.
Yeah.
So you go joining up with them, and where was it that you guys were meeting up? Did you find a new apartment finally for you to all stay at?
I don't think so.
Are we still like in the house beneath the house?
No, not anymore.
No, yeah, no.
Oh, shit.
Probably just found it.
then
Like Odette
Cowboys
doesn't know.
between
Like Odette
houses
knew
right
the
now.
pub. Yeah, and Odette knew when in doubt, go to the pub. Kieran does not know when in doubt, go to the pub.
But you guys would have
We
pre-established
fast
something.
forward. Yep.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
would
I
have
did tell him
pre-established
about the
something.
pub.
So we'll just say it's a pub because you guys haven't established a place for you to stay yet. So you guys you meet up at a pub. Is it the pub?
The pub. I'd
Okay.
say the pub.
Okay, same place as always. When she walks in to
Pub
join you
was fine.
guys, there's something weird about it. The three of you are together for the first time since it happened, and you're just waiting for your friend to join you. And there she is. She comes walking through the...
Oh.
Oh. Well, your friend's here to join you. And,
Oh.
go ahead. Take a scene.
I guess I would look up and like nod her over to our table, just like the hand.
I just have like a small bundle of things in my hand. My hands. And I'll kind of like lay them out on the table. They're all like very like neatly folded and whatnot now.
I'm just gonna be like, you did some shopping?
I found some of his effects, but not what we were looking for.
Okay. look at it.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able.
When he left, he had tried to throw a bunch of stuff inside a bag, and he tried to get Luca to assist him. Yeah? What? Oh, what happened?
Yeah,
Oh, I must have clicked it by accident when I was moving my... That's funny. I must have literally clicked it as I was going to grab my food. So, well, more or less, you like, oh, I found more of his mundane effects, blah, blah, blah. That was hilarious. I was grabbing food and, oh. So, you're like, you said, I grabbed more of his mundane effects, and you guys are like, oh, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then you asked me, what are these things? What did we find on his body? And I'm telling you that the items you find on the body are actually, like, so when he was trying to leave, he was trying to get Luca to help throw a bunch of things inside of a suitcase and to leave with that suitcase and carry some suitcases for him. Luca was like, I ain't carrying your shit. Why do I want to carry these clothes for you? And drop them on the ground and just like walked away, like go die in a hole somewhere. And so he did. And so he did, however, manage to grab some of his own clothes inside duffel bags, suitcases, whatever, and to leave with that. It's just a much smaller amount. If they aren't the clothes off his back, they're the ones that were inside the bag. There's no blood on them, or at least not noteworthy enough to think that these are the ones he was wearing.
Okay. So yeah, they're all just like very.
The
like,
bracelet,
folded.
however, he obviously would have been wearing.
Yeah.
But no luck on the amulet?
No.
That should be
So-
expected. It wouldn't be able to so easily sell it on the black market, at least not in an open stall. As I mentioned before, or I guess as you suggested, is an incredibly powerful magical item.
My hope is that they kept it, and we can prove that they kept it.
I think that would be hoping beyond hope. If this person is as good as Stalbor suggested, I highly doubt that they would make such a silly mistake as to hold on to it. They would simply sell it through different means than just a simple black market.
It
Perhaps
was
they have
it was
very
a-
valuable.
If it was a magical item, they would have most likely tried to dupe the enchantment, make it something they could use without it being suspicious, or reforged a metal or something of that sort.
Or
They're
simply kept
professionals;
it.
they know what they're doing, or simply kept it hidden.
It is a useful item.
Me describing the spell, Stowboy, you would probably know that it's very powerful magic. Like we're talking 3rd level spells here, which is kind of like unheard of in a
I don't know what spell was it. I completely forgot.
major image.
Oh yeah. That's
So-
why he was like, maybe they kept
Yeah.
the enchantment or something dumb. 'Cause- Man.
So, House Madani?
Indeed.
I'll nod to that.
Before we do that, perhaps we should, looking around the area, considering our position here monetarily, we might want to prepare ourselves a place to rest so we have an idea of how much gold we can spend on these Madani people.
And I'll look at Kieran and be like, what would something like that typically cost?
Gosh, I do not know. As a PC, Scott, can I make a roll for that?
Yes, you most certainly may.
What do I roll?
Is going to be a Arcana check to find out the cost that house would do on there. You don't have advantage on Arcana checks, so you don't have advantage on house things, do you?
No.
Didn't think so. Go ahead, roll.
Who knows, really? So one of the purposes of the letters I was sending Scott to my uncle to be able to ask, like, pay for this investigation. Could I make a house favor roll with that? We didn't go over the details of the letter, but that was the nitty gritty of it. Sorry, I can't visit you, even though I'm right here in Sharn. Very busy. Trying to investigate Dane's death. Need money to do so, etc.
So you're just asking for money to accomplish the task.
Yes.
Yeah. You can totally,
Can I make a
do
house
that.
favor roll?
Absolutely. With the letter you had sent, absolutely. And you're referring to your uncle, correct? Not to.
Not to Halvar, no.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't think so. Thank you.
I started off
be-
writing that letter with that intention, but did not go where I thought it was gonna go, so well, it's fine. How do I make a favor roll? It's a D20 roll?
Yes, ma'am. And
Do
then
I
you
add?
Yeah, you
What do
apply
I
the
add to it?
modifiers that it says on there. This is hilarious. It shows me spellcasting and services for the houses and doesn't have House Madani on here. That is...
They're pretty
They're
garbage.
free.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let's see. It says over on the Obsidian portal, if you go to About Eberron Homebrew, House Scion, scroll down to, nope, very bottom, where it says Favorite in House. You were asking for, because you're not trying to get a service off of them, you're trying to get money for a service off of them, correct? So it's going to be a D20. So for Favorite in House, you roll a D20 plus your proficiency bonus, and you're not Dragon Mark, so it's just D20 plus your proficiency bonus.
Alrighty.
We believe in you.
Somebody
people
has
I
to.
believe that we will win.
You're the
Yeah.
best.
Oh,
Wow.
That's
a good
not
amount.
a
the
14
worst.
dice.
Not bad.
not terrible.
That's a
So
4 on the dice, isn't it?
So you ask for the favor, and they actually will tell you, yes, they will assist you. They will see what they can do to get that for you. So just give me 1 second. I'm trying to find out the pricing for this. If not, I'll make it up off the top of my head. I was just trying to stick more to the core. But if I can't find it, I'll just make it up off my top of my head. So they say that they will assist you in doing so. Forward the bill to them, because obviously this is something of significant value. Trying to help. So you are going to House Madani now. When you speak with them, did you want to RP with the person there, or are you just happy to roll a die and let somebody else take care of it?
I'm gonna try to really like work up the core of our like bond thing, like that.
Yeah. We want
gotta
to see
stick up
the
for one
half elves
another.
talk to the half elves. We want to be there for that. And there'll be some funny interactions with the full
Sure.
elf, the full human, and the full hobgoblin. It'll be great.
Oh, great. Racism. All right, it's not there, so I'll come up with a price for you.
Not racism.
More or less, it's just going to be taken care of for you anyways, but I just couldn't find the a built-in price for it. Mark of Finding is what you're using to do. These are the half elves, right? Shadow Marsh. No, that's House Thrask. It's Mark of Detection. That's what you're looking for. All right, Mark of Detection. You're going to try to use... That's funny. You sure you didn't want Thrask? That's why I was third off, and I immediately went to Mark of Finding. Mark of Detection is like...
Mark of Detection is similar.
That's the half-orcs.
Yeah,
That's humans and half-orcs.
Finding.
Yeah.
Yeah, Finding.
So do you want Madani?
Yeah, Madani, because they do divination, right? Also, they're similar.
Yes, but
They're
one
not
is
Finding, but they're Detection.
Yeah, one is like, so detection is things like detect magic, true seeing, see invisibility. It's seeing that cannot be seen. Totally is value there. I'm not saying that you won't have value going there. You can totally go there first. Mark of Finding, as I was third off for a second, Mark of Finding, which is Thrask, that is, so it's half-orcs and humans. They are the ones that can, oh, you lost your puppy? Hold on. Let's go find him.
Well, if my house is paying for it, then I don't really need the core bar aspect, and then we can definitely go with Thrask instead if they're going to be more effective at it.
I mean, no, you can go to House Madani first. It's fine.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Just because,
Yep. Okay, cool.
solidarity.
So you go to them and you go walking into House Madani, and you are going to meet with a House Madani person. Let's see. His name is going to be
I know this game. Click, 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 click.
Nope, not clicking, just scrolling. Oliver.
You can't have an NPC named a player's name.
I'm not.
Can we make him rant a lot?
That is my name.
I'm not. No. So his name's Oliver. So, you go walking in and you meet with an Oliver.
Oh, sorry. I'm typing in chat.
Yep. So when you go walking into the person's shop, what they have around there's so when you go walking into the person's home, because you're going to meet with them at their home. This is a person with a dragon mark, and they do have some. They're established, if not like amazingly wealthy, but they are established. And so you go in to speak to him. And he has like crystals hanging up over there, a few other pendants of trying to find things over there, a tuning fork hanging off over there. So there's a bunch of different things around that might seem a little peculiar if you weren't aware of the fact that he uses this stuff for his art, or in theory does. But it's not like crazy old lady shit hanging from everywhere, nutbag, tinfoil hat kind of stuff. Right. It's like decorative, but clearly has value of some degree. On his coffee table, so over by like where the nice large chairs are and a love seat is, on the coffee table sitting there, in a ornate item that, so in like an ornate piece that is sitting on top of the coffee table, is a very, very large Sybris shard sitting on top of, sitting inside there. It's That's like impressive. Much bigger than you would expect it to be.
Yeah.
So, you go walking in, and so you made this appointment, and he's like, you knock on the door, sorry. He opens the door, and he's like, oh, hello, come in.
I walk in. She's like, hello, I am Kieran Delirandar.
No, I know exactly who you are. I was asked to speak with you.
Oh, good.
This is, mind you, not the next day. This is a few days later.
Yeah. Oh, good. I was hoping that they'd reached out to you. Do you think you'd be able to help us? Did they describe the situation to you at all?
Oh, well, I know that you had, you're trying to find information about somebody that had passed away. I'll be honest with you, there were a bit more details on the letter. I don't remember all of the particulars, but I do know that there was somebody that had passed away, and I think you're looking for closure?
Yeah, closure. We suspect he was murdered, so I'm trying to find information about that.
Well, come in, sit down. Could I get you anything to drink? Would you like a cup of tea or something like that?
Oh, thank you. And by the way, because this is two core of our talking, I imagine like half of it's in Elvish and half of it's in Common.
It's like that Spanglish kind of setup. So somebody like Stalbor can follow it, though not the dialect though. The idioms that they use might throw them off for a moment.
Make no sense.
Yeah, but Stalbor can follow it perfectly. Luca and Reich are kind of lost. So when when he goes over to get you guys tea, anybody else wants it, I don't care, whoever wants it, he goes over and he grabs there's a kettle that's over there and he taps it twice and kind of like whispers something and all of a sudden it's whistling. And so then he pours it into a couple of cups and adds some loose leaf tea into it and carries it over to you guys to sit down. Now, please, tell me all the particulars, anything that might be of importance for me to try to find what it is that you're looking for.
Okay, so she goes into detail about Dane, de Leander, and I'm serious. As soon as I say his name, does she like recognize it at all, or he? Does he recognize the name?
Well, Dane, the musician.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I did hear of Dane. Yes.
Yeah. We don't think he was just robbed. We think he was murdered.
That's
Yeah.
right. The letter from your uncle said that. Yes. Okay. Well, what do you have for me to work with?
I will like lay out the clothing and like stuff that I have with him. He had these on his person. His more valuable objects are missing. In particular, he had an amulet that was very powerful magic. It is gone. We haven't been able to find it.
I mean, I will see what insights I can peer and find with the things that you have put before me. I do not know if I would be able to help you all completely. He has been passed for some time. Maybe we can make an arrangement so that I can go and visit the site where things happened themselves. But for now, let's see what we can do with what's put before me. Are any of you are you in a particular rush? Should perhaps some of you leave for a while? This will take a bit of time.
I take out a small flask from inside my out of my bag and I pour it into the tea that they gave me. I can wait.
I would love to see this.
Well, not a problem. He gets up and he's like, then I imagine I'll get to work then. And he stands up and he as he's going around and grabbing different items like off of like the wall over here and that over there, and he's kind of like placing them around the table and trying to put the stuff in there. He says, "So how is your uncle doing? It was a pleasant getting a letter from him. I hadn't heard from him since before the war ended. I mean."
Yeah, he's doing well. You know, it's been so long since I've seen him. I should probably go and visit while I'm in Sharn. So close, but you know, there's never time.
I'm surprised. I'll be honest. Him and I, we were never like on a daily speaking terms. Like we were never that close. But he never spoke of his niece Kieran before. Are you guys? Is he actually your uncle, or is it terminology?
Gosh. He's my uncle. My mother passed very young, so seeing me, it's probably very difficult for him.
Gotcha.
I would imagine.
Completely understood. Well, anyways, it was nice for him to send the letter, and he, of course, took care of anything that were of concern for this meeting.
Thank you.
And
Kieran's being very polite, by the way. You've never seen Kieran be so nice to someone before.
While they're talking, I turn to Luca and I say, "Luca, have you ever played Conqueror before?"
I'll nod to that and say yes.
I reach into my bag and I pull out a full Conqueror set.
You just like Conqueror in the corner.
So I imagine you get up and
Wow.
leave the room
I have a
because
fucking
he's
gaming
using
set.
this. He's using this table.
I look at the table, I put it on the floor. And I just start setting it up.
I love that.
After he gets like two things off the wall, he walks over and looks down and sees that, and he's like, "While you're welcome to sit on the floor, there are seats over in the other room. You're welcome to go to them."
We'll probably be more comfortable there. Join me?
Yeah,
like it.
so I'll join Reich.
Okay. And you guys are able to like walk down a short hallway. There's other doors in it, but there's a clear, wide open door that has another taller table, almost like a bar-sized table, sitting inside of it, so you can sit down and set up your game of Conqueror and start playing with one another. So then he's finished setting up all the different items that he needs around, and he starts going through the ritual of moving stuff to the exact area where they need to be. And then he stands over with his hands over him, and as he starts to like concentrate and fall into himself, you start to see a slight glow from underneath his shirt. Stalbor, you start to see an ever so slight glow that's happening underneath there, and it glows brighter and brighter and brighter, and is actually because it's not like you're super far from him, so you can actually feel a bit of warmth coming off of his body as he stands over there doing this ritual, whatever this ritual is that he's doing, and looking over the clothing. And so he stands there doing this for a short period of time, concentrating, no hums, no prayers, no anything like that, standing over the stuff. Finally, he opens his eyes, and what you see on his, what you see for eyes, no longer are they just like, oh, iris, pupil, all that. They look to be comprised of crystal itself. They seem to be this beautiful, brilliant sky blue crystal. His eyes are entirely made. Hey, kind of like the crystal that's sitting in the middle of the table right there. And he's looking over the stuff with his crystalline eyes and just kind of scanning through it. And he's kind of like, that's strange. And he reaches down and he picks up an article of clothing, and he's looking over it and has it close to his face. And he flips open, imagine it's almost like a tunic where there's a bit of a knot that runs around the waist, and then a bit of a skirt that goes underneath that. So he flips up the skirt part, and he's looking at the knot on the inside, and he's like, this is strange indeed. Folds up the thing, leaving it so the knot's on the outside, but folds up the shirt and places it back down onto the tabletop. Then he goes over to another article of clothing where he finds a pair of pants, and he lifts it up and he's looking at it, and he sees, once again, pulling the pants inside out, the entire inner seam of both the inner thighs. He seems to be examining for a while, like, oh, this is strange as well, and folds up the pants inside out and places them off to the side. And he goes through every article of clothing you have there, and he seems to find something on each article of clothing that he has, and tries to find out what it is that's on that clothing that seems to stand out for him. And then finally he stops at the bracelet last, and he looks over the bracelet and he's scanning it for a fairly long period of time, and then he places the bracelet down on top of the clothes. Well, this whole process goes on for maybe about 45 minutes, when finally he places his hands back exactly as they were before he started the ritual, and he blinks a very long and slow blink, 6-7 seconds, and then when he finally opens his eyes, he seems as though like a bit drained from whatever he was doing, and his eyes are returned to normal again. The entire time, it wasn't like lights dim, lights flickered, there was a humming noise, nothing like that. The whole room seemed perfectly fine. However, he seemed as though maybe he was possessed and inside like a horror movie, speaking to ghosts. So, you guys finish your... he finishes the ritual and sits down and grabs his cup of tea and takes a nice long draw from the cup of tea. He contemplates for a couple seconds, holding the teacup in front of his mouth. And then afterwards, he takes another nice long draw and places the teacup back down.
Kieran is like obviously getting antsy at all of this. Like, she's trying really hard not to interrupt, but she's like tapping her fingers and like...
This took no time at all. I would have expected a ritual like that to take days.
It's I have been gifted for a purpose beyond my knowledge with incredible abilities, sir. So I use them as suited to benefit my family and my house, which is our culture. You may not be familiar with it. I was able to see you're from elsewhere, but you didn't entirely leave of your own will? Sure, it was your decision, but you were also...
This is not about me, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Her darling fiance.
No, I'm sorry.
Nation magic. You stay to your intended target.
It's the periphery of my view. I was able to glimpse things, and honestly, the aura of you kind of stole my gaze from time to time. I do apologize if I've seen too much. I will try to forget it. And so he turns back to Kieran and gives Kieran kind of like, as subtle as possible, a little bit of a look like, what's wrong with this guy?
And I will kind of just shake my head like, just elves, you know?
But Stalbor, you are welcome to roll a insight to see if you caught that.
Stalbor actually gets up and leaves. He's not looking at them anymore. He gets up and actually needs to build it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So he gets up and
I'll-
leaves, and then he gives a blatant look like, "What's wrong with this guy?" She
Yeah,
shakes
like,
her head,
Whoa.
and then he continues on. I can't interpret everything. I can only find things that seem to be out of place. You have to understand, you gave me very little to work with. Had he had died more recently, sure. Had he worn the clothing, sure. Anything that would carry something more for me to grab from, sure. Sadly, the clothing he wore did not, but something did seem to be out of place, and we'll speak of that in a moment. And he pushes the clothing to the side, simultaneously pulling the bracelet off. He was, however, wearing this when he died.
I nod, like I kind of knew that. Okay.
It has in it an impression. It has in it a strong emotion, a latent bit of who he was is impressed on this bracelet. Not because he was wearing it when he died, though that was certainly a factor, because it had extreme sentimental value to him. His whole life, I would gather. I don't know what that value is. I don't know why, and you don't have to share it with me. But he was wearing it when he died, and some impression was left on it. I lack the facilities to find out what kind of impression is locked on this. But I have heard if you ask the right people in the right circles, they would be able to unlock those secrets for you. But as it stands right now, understand that there is a piece of him locked in this, at least for now. How long it'll stay, I can only know. So he hands it to you.
Thank you.
He
So-
grabs the... Go ahead.
He is dead then. She
There's
kind of says.
there's no doubt in my mind. I would gather. You've told me he was dead, and what I've been able to see
Yes,
from peering
I
into
did.
these things, I would gather he is. I did not. I can't see the incident. Again, that's beyond my faculties.
Kieran kind of nods like silently, like to herself, and that might seem weird because she's like kind of acknowledged he's dead this whole time, but I don't think ever really came to terms with it until now.
So seeing this emotional turmoil, like kind of like welling up inside
Mm-hmm.
of her, he actually looks down at his cup and kind of makes like a like dissatisfied
Mm-hmm.
with his cup, and he will get up and walk over to across the room, tap the kettle again, and let it start to boil immediately afterwards, and fill up his cup with some more hot water to like let it warm up. He goes over and fills up your cup with some hot water, goes back, puts it down, finally lifts up his cup, stands there, blows on it, takes a slow draw, blows on it some more, then walks back over and sits back down in his seat, having had 2 minutes or so to gather yourself. And then he finally looks back up at you and says, I'm sorry, I don't like it when it's too cold. Takes another draw and puts the cup back down. Then he reaches over to the clothing and slides it in front of him, looks down at it, then looks up at you and pushes it forward and says, I know there's something out of place with these clothes. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
I saw it here, and he gestures towards to like the knot in the first tunic, here, and he gestures to all these different areas of seams or whatever that exist in the clothing. Something's out of place. I wish I could help you further. Perhaps you'll be able to find the next clue to this puzzle that you've found yourself in. As I had said, I want you to walk away from here knowing that you don't owe me anything. Your uncle has taken care of that. I also want you to know that I send you my deepest condolences. I didn't know him. I never saw a performance. I've heard rumor of him and whatnot, but what he meant to you was clearly of significance for you to reach out to who you did, to contact me for what you have, and to travel with those that you do. Slight eye look over to where Stallboy was just sitting. So, please,
Thank you.
I give you the blessings of the six. Oh wait, six? Hold on. I give you the blessings of the sovereign host, and may they
Yeah.
may they watch over you as you walk, and may the traveler watch your back as you stride.
Thank you. And she'll kind of nod to that.
Yep, he'll
And
go over
collect
and
your
give
thing.
you a very formal kind of covarian,
Covariant.
half elf
Barbarian.
Kovar, a half elf. Goodbye. Actually, one that is well above your station. Sure, you're a captain. Sure, you're somebody of significant value, but nowhere near here and nowhere in his class of people.
Yeah, no.
However, he treats you for a moment like you were on his level.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I will like return like have a very respectful gesture.
Mm.
And I will gather my things and I will turn to leave. You guys pack up your chess game.
He says, I think you're forgetting something. Gestures towards the room where they are.
Yeah. Boys?
So as you say that to me, Luca, I say, don't try to hustle me. Not when it comes to a conqueror. And then when she calls over, I laugh and I say, it's your lucky day. Good job. Good game. And I lean over and extend my hand for a shake.
I'll shake your hand, and you just see me like staring at the board, like, how could I have lost so badly? I'm just like,
I pack up all my
the first
stuff
game
and-
there was a competition. This game it was like, oh,
It's all mind games.
So,
Yeah.
just to kind of give you an idea, my character's not like a grandmaster level of conqueror. I'm more like the one senior that's in the chess club level of skill at the game.
So,
I got skill.
So we actually we never finalized the ruling for how we're gonna run that game. We should totally get that done so we can put the rules of that up in
skill
our...
roll.
No.
Well,
Yeah, we're gonna have a more formal way of handling Conqueror because it's such a fucking important part
Yeah.
of Eberron. More importantly, it's a fucking important part to House Deneath and Karnath, which is all things Luco, which is the fact that he lost being traded at Reckonmark Academy to a goblin. Yeah, your parents would be disappointed in you, Luca.
I'm also trained.
Your
so.
brother would be disappointed in you, Luca. But Reich was also trained in very similar circumstances by very similar people, and he is a very battle-minded person. So Odette may have had words, but Kieran thinks it's stupid. So
Yeah, I'll kind of like shake my head. The game's I never played Conquer. I don't have the patience for it.
and it's funny actually because you guys apparently finished a game in that amount of time. Conqueror is one of those games where it's like Risk. It's like no. Block off your weekend. You're gonna play this game. It's
Yeah,
it's a
I figured
very
as
long
much.
game. So
We were playing the abridged version.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
there
got to
you
be
go.
like a
Yeah, we
short
knew we
version.
weren't going to be there forever, so we were just kind of playing a
Oh,
quicker version.
Sudden
Hence
death.
why we're not doing all the advanced rolls.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
that's yeah. There you go. The
Just
water
wipe it
watered
off.
down version. Yeah, it's the Breelish version of
Yeah.
Conquer. Yeah. So anyways,
That's
You-
what my character would call it, at least.
you guys pack up your things and walk out. As everybody leaves, he does place a hand on Kieran's shoulder. So whether she's the first one out or the last one out, place a hand on Kieran's shoulder to hold her back for a moment while everybody else finishes out.
So
And
I'll
he'll
kind of
ju-
like put my hand on his hand and I'll turn around and look at him.
Yep. He'll just say, "It really was a strange aura, though. Just so you're
Oh.
aware." And then he leaves it at that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So as you leave the building, Stalbor's outside. He was in his blue House Leander clothing. He's changed back to his red robe, and he changed his hair again. He's gone back to how it used to be. He found somewhere to go change back to original Stalbor clothing,
Of course.
and is not going to mention anything. He's just
All right.
I look at you strangely, but I don't say anything. I assume this is how elves act.
yeah. Based on the things people say about elves, yes.
Okay. So you guys are finally able to make your way out of there, and now you have to find a place to stay. So I imagine you could have... It's funny, actually. I was literally putting together a map for where you guys were going to stay while Odette was with the party forever ago. But when she died, I was like, oh, never mind. I guess not. So it was originally had this mindset where you're going to have Dane. So you had Luca, things paid for him. You had Odette, who has a fuck ton of money. And you have Reich, who can get by on his own. And you have Stalbor tagging along. And you would have had Dane as a benefactor. And so I actually was putting together originally this map of this like 4-story apartment that was inside of a tower. So you had 4 whole floors of a tower, each one of you having your own floor. It's funny that I say that because realistically, 3 of you would have had your own, 2 of you would have had your own floor. Odette would have had her own floor, plus her bedroom was also going to be in the same floor as Lucas. No, sorry, as Stalbor's, my apologies. So she was going to have even more. But that ended up not playing out that way because he died. And so did she. So, moving on. You guys are meeting up in, where is it you're looking to get a room? Cheap rooms down below in Sharn, or a little bit higher up this time around?
I think
When
a little
you
bit higher
all
up.
start to discuss rooms, Starboard gets out it's not even the checkbook. He just has like a separate little piece of paper for keeping track of money.
Mhm.
Like, we have 3,000 gold. Sure, lies with our
Well, before we make this decision, I turn to Kieran. Kieran, how successful was this venture?
I'll know after I
Who cares what
examine
he
the
has to
clothes.
say?
Well, then perhaps we should get a room for a simple room for the night where we can rest. We need to make sure that we have enough money to be able to pay the House Medani people.
No, I took care of that.
Are you sure?
Yes. But thank you.
So a good place you guys might want to stay is Upper Dora. I believe Stalbor lived in Lower Dora. So Upper Dora is literally where you find places like a couple of the Dragonmark houses, like House Civis and House Thrask, which we were talking about beforehand, are actually in Upper Dora. And they have an area called the Overlook, which is like apartment townhouses that you guys can actually rent an entire townhouse for yourself.
Yeah, like a
Sounds good.
modest little townhouse, like one
sounds
room
nice.
a
Yeah,
day
Yeah, so
kind
this
of
is
thing.
literally like, if you imagine each ring is of significant size, altitude-wise. Stalbor was in the middle to upper area of Lower Dura, so a shitty place. Then there's Middle Dora, which is the biggest stretch, and then there's Upper Dora, and you guys are probably going to be staying in the lower to middle part of Upper Dora. It's a really good place to be staying, way safer up here. This is literally the nicest place Stalbor's lived since he left his home.
Right.
This
So-
is good.
When
So
you guys,
what should I keep it down? 4 GP a day?
I will cover costs. I will look it up afterwards and send it to you, and we'll charge you for it. But so with the whole Upper Dora thing, you guys are going to be able to rent the townhouse, and with the townhouse, you're going to be able to have you each have your own bedroom. You're going to have a kitchen, dining room. There's places nearby we can have food made for you if that's what you want, like have stuff delivered or picked up, and you actually get to have, because it's a full-size townhouse, you actually have additional rooms too. So you can choose either an attic or a basement. Choose now.
Basement.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So you guys also have a basement, and you also have a bonus room that's like a smaller room that could be an office or something like that, but there's no furnishings for it. The place
Empty room.
The place is actually fully furnished for you, so it's going to charge us a smidge extra because it's fully furnished for you, sans that one room in the basement. Okay?
Scott, can you give us a handout like next week about the details about our townhouse?
I would love to do so. And then watch next week. You guys can be like, all right, we're moving out of Sharn.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
Just
nice
as
having
a heads
Forget
up,
Sharon.
just as a heads up, first night in this place, Luca's attempting to cook dinner for everyone. That's
Oh.
a thing.
Also, Scott, I do have to talk about the fact that I have an animal being stabled the whole time we're here.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of that. But because of the fact that the animal has been locked in the stable because of the DM Fiat, your animals, what the cost was covered. Okay?
Yay!
I'm not going to charge you for DM Fiat. Okay. So moving on. You guys are finally get back to the place. Maybe arrangements were kind of set up beforehand, where you were scouting stuff out beforehand, whatever the case may be. You go there, you actually write quite the size check to pay for this place for a period of time, which we'll go over later. And you finally go into your apartment for the first time. They actually give you 2 keys, is what they give you, and they open the door for you and let you in. And they're like, all right, well, it's your place. Just so you know, we went and looked at everything before you moved in. So if there's any damages or any stuff happens, obviously it's going to come out of your purse. And you gave us extra money to cover that if that's the case. Everything's good. Just make sure you pay your rent at the beginning of each month, and we should be fine here. It's a pleasure to see people of such prestige staying at my place. And he says, like, looking at the lot of you, you have... You have a member of one house, a member of another house, an elf that looks crazy, exotic, and well put together. And then he looks over at Reich and says, "And that was a damn good speech, sir."
I know.
Nice. And turns and leaves.
Well, that's
Sweet home.
Okay, so when you guys go
What's
in
our
there,
address?
I will worry about that later. You're in the. I told you the district is called the.
Upper Durham.
Yeah, the Upper Durham. No, it's called
221B
the
Baker.
the Outlook is the name of it.
The Outlook.
So moving on. When you guys do go in there, one of the things that you see is sitting on top of the dining room table. There's actually a whole meal prepared for you guys. And sadly, it's cold, which is kind of gross. But it is a
Stalbor eats.
It is a classic goblin cuisine dish, and it's supposed to be served cold.
Yeah, which I sit down and I gobble up.
Okay. To the others of yous, your tastes might not find this to be particularly good. Stalbor, you've eaten worse in the past couple of years.
Oh,
year
yeah.
I'm
or
actually
I've
gonna
had, I've
ask.
had goblin food by now.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna ask Reich, like, what is this? What are
I describe the I say it's horse flank.
Oh.
It's left out in the sun for 3 days, so it gets a
Oh.
nice coat of I don't know how it translates well into your language. I guess the best term is rot on the outside.
You can really taste the rot.
And then
As
you leave it on ice for 3 days. Serve it with the potato. These guys cook it, which I mean is good. Which is a good change, but I usually prefer it raw.
You've got to prefer the classics. Nothing like good old
So,
home cooked.
so like I
food.
said, Luca's gonna nod to that, and actually now instead of attempting to cook dinner, he's just gonna pretend he's not very hungry. He doesn't want to disrespect Reich in any
He has
way.
like little bit.
He has enough respect for Reich to not like.
Oh, you're
be
not
like,
gonna eat
I'm gonna
yours?
go make my own food, but he's gonna just be like, I'm still not feeling great.
You know, I chose to be a vegan an hour ago.
Yeah.
Next day, he's eating
I
eggs.
just grab it. I'll grab his portion and just start mowing it.
Yeah, no,
I had a-
Kieran
I had a
shares
pepperoni when I
no
was a
such
kid.
respect, and we'll say, I'm not eating that shit, and I pull out my rations and I eat that instead.
Ugh. Elves don't have a good. Corvair don't have a very good strong stomach. I see. How about you? You want to enjoy some nice goblin cuisine? Looking at Stalbor.
He's eating it already. He's
He
he's
actually
found
went
with you.
over first. He specifically
Oh,
said,
nice. At least someone's got a good palate.
Well, trust me, the other elves on my homeland would not be enjoying this.
Well, I'll eat all of Kieran's portion, and I'll offer half of Luca's portion to Stalbor if he takes it. If he doesn't want it, then I'll eat it myself.
No, he's up studying or something. Little midnight snack.
Excellent.
So as you guys are settling in and starting to get into your rooms and whatnot, and start to just kind of decompress from all the shit that just happened very recently, we're going to take a quick break this time and come right back. It should be like 5 minutes or so. So we'll see you shortly. And this quick break. See you all in a bit.